Hey folks, Mel here, and wait a second. Hey folks, Mel here, and isn't it great that I showed up for this video? It would have been really boring just looking at this picture for, the 5 minutes I'm going to talk. That's what I want to talk to you about today though, is step number one to be successful is you have got to show up. Now, okay, I can argue. Maybe it isn't necessarily step number one, but we are going to talk about the importance of showing up and why it's important to your success. Regardless what you do in life, if you want to be successful, you've got to show up. Let's say, for example, you want to lose weight, and so you're going to watch what you eat and you're going to go to the gym. Now, I will tell you, if you show up to the buffet, you will get in shape. Your shape will probably be more round than anything. But if you really want to get in shape, you'd have to go to the gym. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, I have never gotten in shape by hitting the snooze button and not showing up to the gym. I have gotten in a lot better shape before by getting up, getting my clothes on, and going to the gym and working out. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta show up. Now, you may think, Mel, I'm not ready. I'm not sure my thing is ready to go. I'm not sure this is the right time. I will go ahead and tell you, stop listening to that. You gotta go out and do it. I used to have a coworker of mine who had a little signature at the bottom of his email, and it said something to the effect of, a 80% plan today is better than a 100% plan 3 months from now. And when you think about it, that's actually a pretty good idea. Going ahead and doing something now, even though you may not be perfectly ready for it, is good. It's getting you out there and getting you to show up and do what it is you want to do. With these videos, it took me weeks of me sitting down going, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. What do I want to talk about? I just started I'm taking this topic and I'm going to speak on it. And even this week, I just basically write a few notes down and I stand up here and I record it and I edit it afterwards, which is the beauty of doing this. But Mel, what happens if I fail? I'm going to look silly. No, we all start off as beginners somewhere. Nobody starts off perfect. What you will do is when you show up and you do something, if you don't succeed at it, you just had practice. That's what we'll call it. This past weekend, I had a friend of mine who used the acronym FAIL. And I've heard the word fail all the time. And basically what she was saying is, if you fail, it's your first attempt in learning. I was like, wow, I'd never heard that before, but I like how that sounds. When you show up, you are getting practice. When you show up, you are trying. You are doing what it is that you want to do. Give you an example of showing up and it just being practice. I used to play ice hockey. I loved playing ice hockey. It was fun. I did it for about 12 years or so. And what I would do is we'd show up at the rink. And occasionally another team wouldn't show up, or they wouldn't have enough players because not enough of their players showed up. Well, what do you do when you have ice time? Now, by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with ice hockey, getting ice time at the hockey rink is not cheap. I want to say it was like $300 an hour when I was playing ice hockey 15 years ago. So I can only imagine what it's like now after COVID. When you have $300 of ice time, you're not going to say, oh, well, not the people here. Let's just pack up our gear and go home. No, you're going to get out there and you're going to scrimmage. You're going to play around. You're going to goof off. You're going to do whatever. But you're going to get out there and do something. If you get up and go to the gym, you may not know what to do from the exercises. Get on the treadmill and walk for half a mile. Get on the treadmill and walk half an hour. Go do something, move. Whatever it is you want to do, get up and do something. Sometimes in life, you get rewarded just for showing up. When I was growing up in school, we used to have award ceremonies at the end of the year. And in these award ceremonies, people would get awards for being the best student in science or the best student in English or having this art that won these awards or whatever. They would get recognized and get an award. Well, it just so happened that every year they would also give an award for people who had perfect attendance. People who would show up every day of the school year got an award just for showing up. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they were good students and all of that, but they didn't have to have the highest average in science to get an award. Or they didn't have to write some great essay in English or just do some beautiful art, painting, or sculpture. They just showed up to school every day. And at the end of the year, they got an award. One other story about showing up that I want to share with you, because this is what happened to me last week, And this is what prompted this video. I think I mentioned in the last video, I joined Toastmasters a few years ago. It's a great organization if you want to work on your speaking. One of the things about Toastmasters is they have these things called speaking competitions. Not only do they teach you how to speak, they let you compete against other people to see who's better at speaking. Crazy, I know, right? Last week we had our area contest for one of the speaking competitions, actually two of the speaking competitions. The way it works is you'll have a contest with your club. Now this is the people that you usually meet with and do your speeches with, but you have a contest with them, and if you win there, you go to something called the area contest. From the area, you go up to the district, division, so on and so forth, all the way up to what they call the International Speech Contest, which they have at their annual international conference. And you have people from all over the world competing for this title. I was going to the contest last week for a different competition, but I was asked to do the international speech because the person from my club was unable to go. And he's like, hey, since you're going to be there anyway, why don't you give a speech? Okay. So we filled out the paperwork so that I could be the speaker there. I get there and I'm waiting, and my competition didn't show up. We waited 5 minutes past the start of the event, and they still hadn't shown up. I only had one person I was competing against. All I had done was shown up for an event that I was already going to be at. At that point, all I had to do was give my speech, not go overtime, not go under time, and not say or do anything to disqualify myself. Sure enough, I'd done the speech several times. I gave my speech. It was within the timelines. It didn't break any of the rules, and I won. If the person had shown up, they might have beaten me, but they didn't. Where do you need to start showing up in your life? Maybe you could show up more for your kids. Maybe you show up more for your spouse, or your friends, or your family. Maybe you're not pulling your weight at work, you can show up at work and support your coworkers. Or if one of them's struggling with something, maybe you can show up for them outside of work. Maybe they're dealing with a family crisis or something. You can be there for them. Maybe you can show up for you. What is it that you want to do that you need to show up for? For me, it was recording videos. I'm showing up, I'm doing them, and they're getting a few views. So thank you for those of you who are watching. But where can you show up for you? Can you show up at work? Can you show up at that job interview? Can you show up at the gym? What is it that you want, that you need to be showing up for? I'll leave you with that. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It does algorithms, blah, blah. Share it with your friends if you're enjoying it, and I'll catch you in the next video.